If you're looking for a trusted and reliable source of news and information, check out my friends over at patriotpost.us. A link for them will be in the description box, so when you go over there and subscribe, tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a video that has gone viral on Twitter over the past few days that features a female salon owner in Sacramento, California, talking about the disgusting conditions of downtown. Now, there's a lot to talk about in the video, but before we even get into it, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see her talking. You'll see what she's saying, what she has to deal with, who needs to do something about it. After we get done with that, I'll give you my 2 cents, then wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
This video is for Gavin Newsom. I'm gonna wait for a response from you, but I'm not gonna stop messaging you, tweeting you, making videos to you, emailing you, writing you, calling you. I want to know what you're going to do for us Californians. I have had a business in downtown Sacramento for 15 years, a successful business. I now have to leave my place of business. I have to close my shop. I own a hair salon. Yes, I can go do hair somewhere else, but it's not as convenient to my clients as downtown Sacramento is. Thank God I live an hour and 10, 20 minutes away from there. But I just want to tell you what happens when I get to work. I have to clean up the poop and the pee off of my doorstep. I have to clean up the syringes. I have to politely ask the people who I care for. I care for these people that are homeless to move their tents out of the way of the door to my business. I have to fight off people that push their way into my shop that are homeless and on drugs because you won't arrest them for drug offenses. I have to apologize to my clients as to why they can't get into my door because there's somebody asleep there, because they're not getting the help they need. I talked to the police officers. They told me to contact you. They want to do something and they can't. You changed the laws. So I want to know what you're going to do for us, the ones that are unhappy. You want to make us a sanctuary state. You want to make it comfortable for everybody except for the people that work hard and have tried their hardest to get along in life, and now we have to change that because of your laws. Your liberal ideology is not working, and I don't know who you're trying to please. So while you sit in your $1 million home and you don't have to look at what we have to look at, there's hardworking people out there that have to deal with this on a daily basis. What are you going to do for us?
Okay, so you heard that, you see what's going on. Now, there's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot to quote unquote unpack, as the cool kids would say. But let's start from the very beginning. I've been saying this for a long time about California and specifically the drug problem. I'm going to start right there because I get a lot of kickback talking about being anti-drug and being pro-drug prohibition. When you don't put any kind of regulation, any kind of restrictions on drugs, you get Sacramento, you get Los Angeles, you get San Francisco, you get Portland, Oregon, you get Seattle, Washington, needles everywhere, people urinating on the ground, defecating on the ground, just living really wild. And in those kind of living situations, you're going to have all kind of disease that is going to outbreak. Hepatitis A everywhere, hepatitis C. You're talking about the plague could come back in California, in Skid Row, that area. You got rats, roaches, everything just in the mix. You're going to have a bad situation, all right? And what she was saying about her business is really a shame. You're in downtown, right? You're supposed to be in the business district, in the business area. She's a small business owner, trying to make some money doing hair, you know, doing the right thing, living the American dream. But when she comes to her actual place of business, she has feces on the ground, probably vomit on the ground, all kind of bodily fluids, right? And needles, which have been used, people probably got HIV. Imagine if one of her clients comes to the actual salon and they step on the needle. You're talking about infection, AIDS, all of that as a potential. Why should she have to cleaning up hazardous materials? Okay, that should be up to the city to prevent that from even happening. The opioid crisis has hit the entire country, but you don't have the level of depravity like you have in California. You just don't have it. California is a beautiful place in the majority of the state. want to make that clear. However, the big city areas where a lot of money is at, the downtown areas, they're terrible. Sacramento kind of gets overlooked because, it's kind of far away from the Bay Area or San Francisco. But the problems that are in Sacramento are all over the state, especially in San Francisco, Oakland, that little nexus right there. It's really bad right there. You had the mayor of San Fran walking around the city in the middle of the day, probably early in the morning. Here's a dude with a needle getting ready to bang it right there on camera in front of her. Nobody's doing anything. I saw her on the news this morning on Fox, and she was talking about how she's spoken to police, and they have told her that their hands are tied. They can't do anything. All right. So it's not a matter of the laws not being there. It's a matter of law enforcement not being able to enforce the laws. Surely it's illegal to be shooting needles in front of a business in the middle of the day or having your tent right there on the ground in the middle of, trespassing, defecating on the ground. Surely these things are illegal, but what are you going to do? And then not only are they getting high on drugs, acting crazy, leaving their bodily fluids everywhere, needles everywhere, they're also trying to break into the business during business hours, trying to harass her clients, trying to harass her, and she's got to fight them off. Can you even have a gun? What if one of them gets shot? Is she going to be the one that gets in trouble? It's just a bad situation. So she has to leave. People are leaving California and going to Texas, going to Arizona, going to Nevada, Vegas specifically, because it's just too much stuff happening in California. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be a nice place to live, a beautiful place to live. But the leaders of the state, your Gavin Newsoms and many others, are just not doing the right thing. It's pretty clear. They're more worried about, protecting illegal immigrants, or what they call them, undocumented, and climate change and other things that don't affect the actual state. Well, illegal immigration does affect the state, but I'm talking about they are not looking out for the citizens of the state, if that makes any sense. All right. They're worried about things that are not going to help. If anything, they're going to hurt, or they will have no effect at all. So rather than be trying to, build a $1 trillion train in nowhere, or worried about climate change, or inviting every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the world into your state illegally, rather than getting them trying to vote illegally, rather than doing that, let's focus on your working everyday Americans, like the lady that was in the video. Focus on people like that. Focus on not having their businesses overrun with garbage, with human waste, with danger. Okay, protect them, because that's the lifeblood of your state. The government can't run without taxpayer funds. Okay, these are the individuals that are paying the taxes to help Governor Newsom and his employees be able to operate. It is what drives the state. Without them, you have no California. As I close, I want to say this. Like I said earlier, California, beautiful place in the majority of the state. I mean, you got the desert scenery, you got the mountains and all that. It's really nice. However, in the city areas, you get some really, really dangerous spots, some disgusting spots, hazardous spots, and people that live there that don't engage in the drug culture and all the craziness, they have to leave. They're being forced to leave. And how long can you sustain that? Why would you want to sustain that? If you want California to do well economically, you got to be able to protect people that are going to make it be that way. If you got to be hard on crime, hard on drugs, and let that be what it is. You can't just be so lax on your rules that you just let any and everything go on, because you're endangering individuals. At what point does your policy of allowing everything to happen and, live and let live impact the safety of others that don't want to live that kind of dangerous, destructive, and deplorable lifestyle? But I think I'll leave that right there for now. What say you? Do you think that the lady in the video, Elizabeth, was correct about the state of Sacramento, especially downtown, and California in general, the big city areas, LA, Orange County, even San Diego, San Francisco? Is she right? Is she wrong? Is she being intolerant of people and their human waste and their syringes? Would you want to live there? Would you want to be dealing with that? I know I wouldn't. But that is all I got. And whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.